GTA Online's Agents of Sabotage DLC update has been out for almost a week now, and while there are certainly some wins to celebrate, we've also got some pretty glaring issues that are hard to ignore. Once you spot them, you truly cannot unsee them. It's like Rockstar's doubled down on some of their most frustrating decisions, sacrificing player enjoyment and long-term replayability in favor of mechanics that limit progression and creativity. Take the lack of customization options for the new business, the disappointing payouts that players feel this content has, and missed opportunities like the wall safe. It could have functioned like the agency safe or something of the like, but it just doesn't. And combine that with the continued patching of harmless clothing and character glitches, and it's clear that Rockstar is making strange choices about what to prioritize here. And don't even get me started on that Nightclub nerf as well as the drip feed schedule, which aside from a few highlights we'll talk about, it looks a little bit more like filler than substance. But that said, it's not all bad. We've got 26 vehicles back on in-game websites, which is a win worth acknowledging. Plus 50 vehicles now have Amani Tech missile lock-on jammers, and the Terabyte has also seen some overdue upgrades. Maybe the MOC will get the same treatment in the summer DLC. And hey, at least GTA is still getting content, unlike Red Dead Online, which Rockstar has completely abandoned. This is going to be a discussion-heavy video, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think this DLC is worth the hype? And how frustrated are you about some of these changes? Maybe you really love the DLC. I definitely enjoy it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let's get started. I just literally spawned into my garment factory to get started with this video as we play through some missions, and the first thing that's going to stick out to me, and probably many of you, is that wall safe. And this is just a major missed opportunity because it only generates like $1,600 to maybe $2,000 per in-game day or 48 real-life minutes. It truly should function like the agency wall safe, where the more FIB files you do and the more FIB files you run, you know, of course, the agency contracts you have to do up to 200 to get the max $20,000 added to your agency wall safe a day. With this DLC, since the missions and the actual files take longer than a simple 5 or even 10-minute security contract, it would actually make a lot more sense maybe if you got like $500 added to your wall safe every single day. But as it stands right now, you just get like, you know, at most probably $2,000, right? So it would be a lot better if the more contracts you ran, the more FIB files you ran, the more money that would get added to the wall safe, say $500, for example. And at that point, what would be nice about it is you could, you know, say, earn up to $25,000 per in-game day after you ran a bunch of those, say like 50 files, and your wall safe could hold $250,000 maximum. So that would be nice to see right there as sort of just like an addition that they could make, or a quality of life update, because right now they're giving you the wall safe and it's doing absolutely nothing for you. Now I'll use that as a segue to talk about one of the other problems that players have, and it's sort of a problem I have as well, but I understand Rockstar's reasoning behind it, but I'm here to talk about the fact that it's not really the reason. It's probably just because they don't want to do the work. So, the lack of business customization options for the garment factory. This is a shared location for all players. I mean, it's your own personal garment factory business you're buying, but it's the only one on the map because it's the Darnell Bros garment factory. It's not just a garment factory that you could buy across the map with a bunch of different locations, unlike other GTA Online missions, or excuse me, businesses. And the lore here is that Lester has rebuilt the garment factory, which of course we use for heists in the single player, and he rebuilt it after the fire so he could sell it and he could just retire. And that's basically the lore of this business. And so it's, you know, his way of rebuilding the business to sell it, things like that. We're not customizing it or anything like that. And, you know, that's Rockstar's quote-unquote story lore about it. But probably the real reason is they just didn't want to put in the effort at this point to do something like that. This is just not what they had in mind for this type of business and for this type of DLC, which wouldn't be so bad, but you should just be able to choose like different paints, maybe artwork, things like that. I would just like to see something like that get added, but of course that didn't, and unfortunately it is what it is. It's never going to change. You're never going to be able to customize the garment factory. Another issue players have with this DLC, and I think this is a big one because it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it just shows that Rockstar is continuing to nerf things when, you know, not that it was so broken, but I guess it was sort of a glitch on their end and they're trying to fix it here. It's the Nightclub and the blue dot event patch for the troublemakers, where you go into passive mode, you enter through your garage, and you get the troublemaker. You know, you basically eject that guy, you can max out your popularity. Again, you get 10% popularity for that. So if you run that basically every 48 minutes, you can keep your Nightclub at max popularity. And that's what players have been doing to get, you know, extra money in the, or not the agency, but the Nightclub wall safe for years now. I guess ever since the Nightclub came out, right? I guess that was a thing. So now it's different. It's just not the case anymore, which is unfortunate, right? We should see or not see that get patched, but I could see it, you know, if it was never intended by Rockstar, I could see why they patched it. But the real question is, Why now? Why did they decide now, after all these years, to actually patch? I think that's what players are more upset by, because they just didn't need to. They left it in the game for this long. They let players make tons of money. And so I guess we got to be thankful for the fact that we were able to make money using that method in the first place. And now it just is what it is. It's patched, and we're probably never going to go back to that point. By the time anything would get changed, GTA 6 will already be out, and it just is what it is. But that being said, that's obviously got players very upset, and I think that is one where it's like, why even do it? You know, you waited all this time, don't change it at this point. That's pretty messed up. And speaking of that, because you could use that to make a little bit of money too, it would only give you like, what, $10,000, but the real advantage was getting your Nightclub popularity. But you were making money with, you know, having higher popularity, having extra daily Nightclub income, things like that for your wall safe. Let's talk about payouts for this DLC as well, because I do think they could pay a bit more, and that is a problem with the DLC, considering, you know, one of them, the high priority file, you can only do once a week, and it's only double money from the normal files. It should be like triple, quadruple, or even 5 times if it's only once a week, is just like, you know, like a gimme, you know, like a free, just extra ton of money for doing a file or something like that. But as it stands right now, it's just double money from the normal files. And so I do think that the normal missions are pretty appropriate for the amount of money you're making, for the time you're investing and things like that. But maybe at the same time, I do think the high priority file should definitely be paying out more. Overall, I do feel like the payouts are a little bit more fair, but they still could be a lot better in the sense that, like, the high priority file, since Rockstar is calling it that, that doesn't reflect high priority work or anything like that. So I disagree with that part of it, or Rockstar's logic with that. But I think the payouts for the normal actual files that aren't going to be high priority for the week, I think they're pretty fair. You know, these missions aren't hard, they don't take too long, things like that. I'm just commentating live gameplay, doing some of the setups, but you could still make like 400k an hour with this business and with these money-making methods. Get the new dispatch work, things like that, a little bit of new side content. So overall, it's not terrible, but it could be better, and I think that's where players have that problem, because they just want high payouts. But not everything is going to pay out like Cayo Perico, right? And I think that's something every player has to understand, is we're not going to get crazy millions of dollars with every DLC, especially considering Rockstar is nerfing Cayo Perico every single time. I mean, it did get a slight buff with this new update where you don't have the vision cones of enemies and NPCs now, so like it's a lot harder to get spotted, I guess. It's a lot easier to remain in stealth, but at the same time, they are nerfing the payouts, they got the cooldowns, things like that. Now, let's talk about another thing. Nothing actually new in terms of ways to play this game or mission structure. To be honest, that's to be expected at this point. This game is over 11 years old. We're not going to get, you know, crazy new innovative methods to play this game. If we were to get that, it would have come years ago, and that's why GTA Online is still going the way it is, because it's had some absolutely transformative and monumental changes and adjustments to this game. The Cayo Perico heist, the Doomsday heist, those were always the biggest in terms of adding new ways to play the game. We've had various businesses where you just, you know, it's truck sell mission simulator. We have active grinding content, and that's most of what we've been getting since the contract DLC, with the mission strings, of course, with the contract, mission strings for criminal enterprises, although those pay out like bunk. Same thing with the LS Drug Wars, but at least we got the Acid Lab, but you got First and Last Dose with that. San Andreas Mercenaries, LSA operations are pretty decent. I wouldn't do the normal missions and the quest lines because it's just way too much trouble for the amount of pay you're making, because they're normal contact mission payouts. Salvage Yard's pretty cool, but the cooldowns suck. Same with the bail office. The payouts on the normal bounty should just be higher, and the most wanted targets should be once a day, not once a week, things like that. Overall, this DLC just gives you more things to do, but it's not innovative in any way. I wouldn't expect things to be innovative, but it is what it is. If you're a player who expected that and still want that to be a thing, it's just never going to be, so it's going to be something that you just have to come to accept. But at the same time, it's not all bad, because if you're into playing this game like me and you love the content, you just like playing GTA Online for playing GTA Online, well, you're probably going to like this DLC, because the missions are fun, simple, things like that, and you could just kind of run through them fast and easy. Now, are we going to get any new high priority files or other files? I heard somewhere that we are getting drip feed missions, but I don't know how many we're going to get. I don't think these are going to be the only ones we're getting with this DLC. I don't think the high priority file is going to be always the brute force. You know, it'll probably change between these 4, but we may get an absolutely brand new one for next week. I'm not too sure how that is actually going to work, but as it stands right now, I think we are going to get some new ones. But don't quote me on that. It's just hearsay. I haven't seen the leaks myself. What I have seen, though, is the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions, and that's something we're going to be talking about as well. We have that mid-season update coming just like we've had, you know, with LS Drug Wars, we had First Dose in December, Rockstar split up the DLC, and then we got Last Dose in March of 2023. Of course, with the Salvage Yard and the Chop Shop update in December of 2023, we got the Cluck and Bell Farm raid, which was like the second half of the DLC that came out in March of 2024. And now the Oscar Guzman Flies Again quest line is going to be coming probably in March of 2025 as well, and that's when I would imagine GTA on PC is going to get the expanded and enhanced content. That's when we're going to get the HSW upgrades on PC, things like that. Now, another thing I want to talk about, Rockstar continues to patch clothing glitches and harmless glitches for more player and character customization and fun. Honestly, after seeing all the patches that Rockstar did to the bottom dollar bail office for like the character and clothing glitches where you could morph, you know, helmets and masks and gloves and all that type of stuff to your character at the same time to create some really cool outfit combinations and things like that, I was really upset. But honestly, this time I didn't even pay attention to it because I figured, you know, they weren't going to patch even more workarounds, but it turns out they did. And Gilly Master actually talked about this in one of his recent videos. I'm not fully caught up on it, but I know that there, I guess, were more workarounds and they've now been patched, which is extremely unfortunate. It was something that I didn't kind of expect to see with this update, but that is something that happened, so that really sucks right there. And so that's why I'm rocking this kind of basic outfit on my character, because to be honest, the workarounds now to kind of create cool outfits for yourself, they're so involved and just like extra that it's like, is it even worth the effort? I don't even know. I'm just gonna rock a normal outfit at this point. But it does suck because you could create some really cool combinations with the clothing glitches, and I don't know why Rockstar patched those after all this time. That's really sad. That's really annoying. But like I said at the beginning of today's video, it really isn't all bad news. We did get the 26 vehicles that were added back permanently to in-game websites. I do find that to be a win. Of course, there's 160 more to go before Rockstar adds them all back, but why should we try and turn the 26 vehicle win into a loss, right? I think we should just take that as a win and enjoy it and move on. 50 vehicles also got Imani Tech lock-on, or missile lock-on jammer capabilities, which I also think is pretty sweet right there. It's good to see something like that get added, because now, I mean, it sort of devalues Imani Tech being like a standout upgrade for select vehicles, but at the same time, it makes so many more vehicles in the game so much better, and so I'll take that over having like, quote-unquote, you know, exclusive upgrades for just a very select few vehicles. Because a lot of the, you know, Imani Tech now is 3 years old. It came out with the agency and the contract update. We've had time to enjoy that for the specific vehicles and the exclusivity factor of Imani Tech on certain cars. And now we just have a ton of vehicles. So now you can come up with new rankings for vehicles. It's not going to be the same 10 or 15 that are always the goated vehicles in the game because of Imani Tech. Now you have so many more options. I thought I was going to make it over the hill right there. I guess I didn't. Now another thing. The Terabyte has got some big upgrades, and a theory that I have is maybe the MOC will get them in the summer DLC. That would be pretty cool. I think a lot of players would like to see that for more of the vehicles in the game, a lot of the service vehicles. We have it for the Terabyte. Let's get some upgrades for the MOC. Let's see some Kasatka upgrades. Let's see all that type of stuff in the game. I think that would be really, really cool. Who knows if we're going to get it. And then also, at the end of the day, we're still getting content in GTA Online. Guys, Red Dead Online was completely abandoned. I was a big Red Dead Online player. I mean, this is why my channel is as big as it is, because before that I was making Battlefield videos, then I transitioned to Call of Duty, and then it was, you know, Red Dead Online, and that's what's basically what I was doing all the way from fall of 2018, basically until the contract update, and then I decided to start making GTA videos as well, because I knew that Red Dead Online was not going to be getting any more fresh DLC. We saw the introduction of monthly updates and stuff, and that was just bad news for Red Dead. But now we've been doing GTA for 3 years, and I couldn't be more happy with this decision to introduce some of this content here on the channel. But Red Dead Online has been left for dead for a long time, and it just is what it is. GTA is still getting content, and I think that is good news here to see. Or it's just a good thing in general, right? If you're bored of this game, to be honest, if you are bored of this game, and you're sick of playing this game, and it's not fun, and of course my Sparrow's gonna die, I'm gonna take it all the way to Davis. If this game is just truly boring to you, what I truly recommend here, because this will make it so much better, take a break. Don't force yourself to play it, because if you force yourself to play this game, you're gonna start resenting it, you're gonna hate it, and then you're just gonna come to permanently hating the game, and no one wants that. No one at all wants that. So I would recommend just, oh, we're dead. I would recommend you just take a break. Don't force you know, playing it or anything like that, because like I said, you're gonna start resenting it, and if you do that, then you may never come back around to it, and you'll just have to wait for GTA 6. And to be honest, this game as a multiplayer is still pretty fun. There's a lot of gaming slop out there these days, and as a multiplayer, this is fun to grind. I treat it like an MMORPG. I've used the Sparrow quite a bit in today's video, but usually I take ground vehicles. I will drive from point A to point B, you know, in my favorite truck, sports cars, supercars, SUVs, muscle cars, whatever the case is, right? I won't just use the Sparrow and Oppressor Mark II. I will use those if I have to repeatedly go to Paleto Bay, because to be honest, who wants to do that? I hate how Rockstar constantly brings us out there with no real way to fast travel. If we could fast travel out there faster, I mean, the Garment Bros factory, or the Garment Factory, the Darnell Bros Garment Factory, added fast travel, but it's only to specific points and things like that. If there was a way to just fast travel around the map, sort of like Red Dead Online, or honestly even like The Division, where you choose a point of interest on the map, whether it's any of your businesses, whatever, you select and hold it, and there's a fast travel option that you could click, and you just get a quick loading screen. That would be pretty nice. Maybe it comes with a fee of like $5,000 or something. I don't know. That would be Rockstar's way of balancing it, but that would be nice to see in this game. But anyways, I want to talk about some of the most major problems with the DLC. I actually did release a community post on my YouTube channel, and feel free to sound off in the comments below, but basically I said, do your worst, rant about the DLC. This is going to be my sort of rant here. Not an angry, super upset rant, but just having a conversation, having a discussion with you guys about the major problems of the DLC, because while it's fun, I always enjoy new content in this game because I just like playing it. It does have its problems, and the community is rightfully upset about some things that released with Agents of Sabotage. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. If you guys want to see more content like this, let me know. Also check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, because I live stream GTA Online as well as Red Dead Online several times a week over on my Twitch account. I don't really live stream on YouTube, so if you want to catch me live, those are the platforms to do it. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios, amigos.